What a blessing to live in Australia. We have so many wonderful natural resources, though we know we haven't always been good stewards of the land. However, many farmers today are adopting sustainable practices.
I think if we really take to heart that we're actually God's creation ourselves and He wants to work with us, then we can make a huge difference in the way we manage the land that we've been granted. My wife and I moved here in the middle of 2019. We wanted to do something a bit different, and at the time I'd lost my job as a scientist working in medical research, and decided that having some land and some space and something to do might be an opportunity to generate a small amount of income. I guess I've since discovered that farmers don't earn much money on small farms, but still it's a good place to live. So we have 25 acres here, and following the Cuddly Creek bushfire in 2019, made a very conscious decision that we should not treat the land as something that we abuse and take from, but something that we nurture and care for. And so my interest in regenerative farming developed through reading, and this is how it is today.
I think living on a small farm in a beautiful setting would be just glorious.
Yes, it is. Sometimes I have to pinch myself. We have a beautiful house, amazing views. Life as even a small farmer has its challenges. There are grisly things to do from time to time. But yes, it's something I wished we'd done a lot earlier in life. But then I was a suburban Sydney boy, so it probably didn't really cross my mind until well after I moved to South Australia some 25 years ago.
So I've heard of regenerative farming, but tell me what it is.
Regenerative farming or agriculture basically looks after soil health, believing that if we have healthy soils, then we have healthy plants, healthy animals and healthy landscapes. And it extends into protecting watercourses and creating biodiversity. Really, regenerative farmers are about making sure that the way God created the world, with billions of microbes in the soil and plant associations, that those things would work together to create a bountiful landscape.
So David, why have you chosen this approach?
There is a sort of core part of me that believes that it's the right thing to do. But I also believe that the ideas have been planted in me from an early age, particularly through my grandfathers who both grew vegetables, kept chickens, and we were the beneficiaries of that growing up. We had really high quality produce and fresh food, particularly vegetables, provided for my grandparents' families. So why shouldn't that extend to your whole farm? It also is important to me because it reflects my Christian belief that, God has created a good world, that He wants to restore not just us, but all of creation to Him. And so I need to be honest and truthful and live out that belief. And so I can do it here. And as anyone can, where they live, they just have to find what's right for them and what works for them.
I live in a suburban house block in the city. Would you have any advice for me, even in my own, backyard garden or front yard garden?
Well, I don't know what you grow now, but certainly growing a few fruit trees. Fresh herbs are great, simple things that people can do. Some of those things you can grow on pots in balconies. Being connected with what we eat is actually really important. If you can't do it in your own place, or you don't feel that's what you want to do, attend farmers markets. Make sure that the things that are being grown and sold are local. Find people that are growing food and connect with them, support them, and you'll discover how good food can taste.
So living and farming sustainably, regeneratively, reminds me of, the story in Genesis of God creating the world and giving the world to mankind, humankind, to look after. I think sometimes we've interpreted the passages of, well, let's just take over and exploit our world. Have you got a comment about that?
Yes, the passage in Genesis and the creation story says that God placed man in dominion over the fish, the birds, the seed, the creation. But that's actually a word that really means we have both responsibility and power. We have the power to make good decisions, and we have the responsibility to work with creation the way that God created it, not the way that we chose. And I'm reminded, in the Psalms that often the writer would look at and call out, God, where are you? Or where does my help come from? And then look at the world around him and say, my God created this world. He's going to look after me. And I think if we really take to heart that we're actually God's creation ourselves and he wants to work with us, then we can make a huge difference in the way we manage the land that we've been granted. We're only custodians for a short time, but we can make a difference when we understand that we don't need to be greedy, and that if we allow the created world to function as it should, it actually is remarkably good at healing itself.